Cloze activity. Who's familiar with the Cloze activity? I was like, why do they spell it that way? Please don't ask me that. I really don't know. Why do they spell it like do you know? Is it the last person? The last person, their name? I don't know. I'm like, why are we teaching these kids how to spell it that way? That's wrong. No, I really don't know why it's called Cloze, but I know how to use it, okay? It's basically based on written text. So if you know you're going to be giving them text, you leave out information. So here's an example. There's several ways you could use a Cloze method, okay? A traditional way, you leave out selected words randomly. So it's like a random pattern. Okay, so what would be the purpose of this? For them to get used to the nuances of the language, right? And tenses and things like that, okay? Syntactic, structure words are deleted. Like to and there and I don't know. English teachers help me out. Semantic, content words are deleted. And then graphophonic, some letters are left out. Okay, so you have 4 different options for Cloze method, okay? So here's an example. So can you fill it in for me? I don't remember names. Usually I'm really good at this, but I don't. Estela, there you go. Merry Christmas. Go.
S, like all insects have.
Help her if you guys help. Jointed.
Jointed legs.
The words are down there, guys. Psst, look at the bottom. You're like,
all insects have
ugly legs? No, they have 6 legs. All insects have 6 legs. They have jointed legs. That's what an arthropod means. Arthro, like arthritis, it means joint. Go ahead, keep going. You're doing good.
Blank body parts, head, thorax, and abdomen. 3 body parts.
There you go. I'm like, where's she getting those words from? Help her out here, people.
And a hard exoskeleton.
Okay, good. Now, so do you see the idea here? Okay, now remember on the previous slides I gave you where I changed the word color? Sometimes when I'm giving my student notes, and I know it's going to take forever, and I know that my ELL student's going to take even longer, right? I'll do that, where I'll give them like the skeleton of the notes, and then I'll take out the stuff in red. Okay, so that it gets them used to then looking through it, and then don't do that all the time, because then they think you only write things in red, right? Only the red stuff's important, miss. All the rest of the stuff can be. No, you change it up. But it does help it out, especially when you know that your notes that day are going to be very wordy. Okay, sometimes you just can't help it and you're going to need it. It happens, right? If you know they're going to be extremely wordy, then give them some kind of framework for it, okay? Here's an example where they just did vocabulary terms. I think this is from a cosmetology ISN. They use them in cosmetology as well. Okay, so why is it good? It gives them the opportunity to learn this English vocabulary. It gives them decoding skills. They're able to make predictions. Like right now, you self-corrected, right? You don't know that you're not saying, oh, I'm self-correcting right now. You do it though, right? You read it and you're like, that doesn't sound right. There has to be something wrong. That's not there, right? If they hear you doing that, then they think, oh, that's normal. Yeah. Right? Like everybody messes up like that. I need to hear it. Okay, and so you could do the self-correcting. It gives them prediction skills. They could predict, hey, maybe this goes there, or this makes more sense. They're able to use the context, okay, to make meaning. Like right now, you started picking words that would make sense within that were listed there. You said, what did you say? 6 legs?
8 legs.
8 legs or something, and that was not even one of the words. Why? Because you knew that would make sense. Okay?
And you wasn't 3.
Yeah, you're like, they have 3 pairs.
It's supposed to helping me out here. I'm walking around.
Well, there you go. Good mental image, right? Okay, cooperative learning. We've been doing cooperative learning. Again, it helps with accountability. It helps them work on a specific task and increases student achievement. So why is this important? How is it This is sad because I see that picture and I'm like, I really like that picture. I don't know when that picture was taken, but it's like the teacher smooshed it, so I look really tall and really thin. But that's my classroom, and that was a newcomer section. But it allows students, when you start building these habits of connection, using metaphors, using analogies. You could use that in cooperative learning. Connecting with examples. Oh, this is like that, like you were talking about that the other day. Or they'll start making those connections. Personifying things, using language to authentically do and think. Receiving input. So how is it that they're taking this information? They're able to produce language, negotiate meaning, and so gestures and facial expressions, linguistic enabling, that's all important. But this is like, I don't know, for a lack of words, what's happening now? You guys are like, right? It just seems like words, but you're not making the connection. So let's continue with this. Why is that good? We worked on cooperative learning. So why is it good? It's interactive. You saw all the students were engaged. It promotes higher order thinking skills. You could work your way up, right? Like if you notice, like some of those questions were kind of basic questions, and then we could spiral. We could go into more complex and more open-ended questions. The teacher is able to check for understanding very quickly. A lot of the times when you're doing a whole class thing, I can't check on each individual one of you guys. First of all, I'm going to be extremely exhausted by the time the day is over. And chances are I'm only going to get to a small percentage of my students. But if I'm doing it like in cooperative learning, I'm able to move very quickly. One of the things that I like to do is when kids are in groups, I like to make sure that there's an empty desk in their group so that I already have a desk to sit at. So I'm just like moving from each group to another group, and then they're like, can you please leave? You've been at our group too long, Mrs. Dominguez, can you go to another table? So then I know then I need to stay there longer. I'm like, just for you asking me to leave, I'm going to stay here even longer. But, I can't speak highly enough about cooperative learning, especially if it's done well. Okay? Word walls. Everyone hears word walls. Have you guys heard of word walls? Everybody here? No word walls? No. I thought like when I first started teaching, like everyone's like, word walls, you have to use word walls. And I was like, I'm like, what's a word wall? I'm like, just putting words up there. I'm like, okay, I got a word wall. It looks really nice, right? But I didn't understand the reasoning behind a word wall, that it's actually, has a purpose other than looking pretty in your room, right? So what was the purpose of it? It's to build familiarity with common words. They serve as visual scaffolds. Again, a lot of students will refer to your word wall. They become familiar with word patterns. They serve as a reference, build vocabulary, and teachers and students are always seeing these words and they're able to self-monitor. You guys don't have to write this, right? You have it there? Okay, good. So that way I could go a little faster. Okay, so here are some word walls. So when I first started, I did the word wall and I put the words up on the board and I thought, okay, I need to use like important words per unit, yada, yada, yada. And then what happened is I would put them up there and they would stay up there forever, right? They'd be up there for the whole school year and I'm like, I'm not even talking about those words anymore. So then I decided to start using these pocket charts. People don't think of high school and pocket charts, but I love pocket charts, right? And those sentence strips, like I cleared them out. So what I did is I started putting these pocket charts up, and then I would have different ones based on the units I was teaching. So what I would try to do is I would try to keep 2 working word walls up at a time. One for the unit that I'm on right now, and the other one for the unit that I just finished. Okay, so that the words are still up. Okay, so for some of these words, for example, on this one I'm talking about energy, photosynthesis and stuff. So one of the key things with word walls is you have to be picky. You shouldn't put 50 words up there. That's just way too many. That's like word overload. You need to pick the most important words. Okay, that's your job because you're the expert in the content. Okay, and then what happened is some of these words, I knew they're very abstract. So I'm like, how am I going to get them to come up with a visual for this word if they have no idea what eukarya is, right? I'm like, so then I have to fill that in. And if I make the connection for them, okay, eukarya, that means true bacteria. Okay, so I break up the word and tell them what that means. Okay, so that then when they hear that word, they can make the connection to that picture. Okay, so what I would notice a lot is that people, once I, like say they were having a quiz or something, I would turn the words around or I would take the words out. What would kids do? They would look, right? They would look at the board and they're like, they refer back to it if it's a working word wall. Okay, so those are a couple of examples. Here's some more. This one.
A good idea also to have the students take them.
Yes, yes. So I have some of these, like, okay, so for example, this is a word wall. I took a picture of this. This is a social study, world geography class. So this was a word wall in her classroom. And this one was one in mine, and I had the kids, when we did that strategy with the vocabulary, where they had to do the picture, they did their own. They did the pictures. And then so when they showed me the picture, and the picture's not anywhere near it, then I'm like, okay, we need to work on this because we're not making that connection. Okay, so that's important. And I think that's just good practice. Give them a visual. If they can't come up with their own, show them one. Okay, this one's on cognates, I believe. Mass number, oh no, it's another word. This is a word wall. This is one in middle school, at the middle school. Okay, so the next thing, cognates. We have the advantage, I think especially in this community, that the majority of our students speak Spanish, right? So it's a Latin base, like a Romance language Latin base. So they're able to really make that connection. With the cognates, there's a lot of cognates. So what's a cognate? A cognate is a word that looks similar to their native tongue, okay? About 1/3 of all of our words have Spanish cognates. It's a lot, okay? Of course, there's false cognates. We can make stuff up. You're like dying over there. I'm gonna get a squirt bottle, okay. Cognates, they make a bridge. Okay, what time's our break, people? Okay, we're almost there.
I keep on hours.
Remember, I take things personal. You guys are like, right now, like, start squirting you. Okay. If you need to get up and jump around, let me know. I'm all right. Okay? I won't freak out. That's what my kids are. I know some kids are like, they'll roam and roam and roam and roam around. Okay, so here are some example cognates. Important, importante, doctor, and doctor. Okay, so important and importante, they're very similar, right? It just has the E. I know some people like put an A in every word and they think that's a Spanish word. Right? And doctor, they're spelled exactly the same, so you have different types of cognates. Biology, biología, part, parte, momento, right? So we can make those connections. And when we point it out to them, it helps, okay? So here's a word, another word wall that somebody has up, but they have it with cognates. This was from the middle school. I like that when you catch when you catch them doing good or something like that. I like walk into rooms and just take pictures. Like, what are you doing? But it's a good one. And she changes it depending on her units. Okay. All right. So why is it good? Exposure to new vocabulary. It builds a schema in order for them to understand their text. It serves as a resource. Okay. So there's so many. There's just, I mean, it's endless, really, if you're looking for them. Just don't get stuck in a rut. Don't start, use the ones that you have that you're comfortable with. Okay. Now, I know especially for new teachers, well, this happens for any, I think, good teacher. Summer is exciting, right? The summertime before school starts, you're like, oh my God, okay, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this, I'm going to be a great teacher, I'm going to be the best teacher on campus next year, I'm going to do Cardinal notes and then ISNs, and then next thing you know, you start off and you're like, I can't keep up with myself and my plan, right? It doesn't, what you envision, it's really hard to do in reality. So I suggest you take it in like baby steps. Pick one strategy and become a master of that strategy that year. You know? Kill it. Use it till you're an expert in it and you're super comfortable and it just comes second nature. And then pick a different one the next year. If you're like a really fast learner, then do one each semester. But don't try doing them all at the beginning of the school year. You're going to go crazy. You have to, you're human. Teachers, we think we're not, but we are. And you need to practice, choose one, become really great at it, till you're really comfortable with it, and then the next year start a different one. Once you've covered up the stuff that you thought you wanted to do, then look for more, because there's always a lot of stuff. Okay, so concept mapping, there's sentence stems, Cornell notes, I gave you some examples there. Interactive student notebooks, vocabulary strategies, foldables. You either love foldables or you hate foldables. I think you either fall into one of the two categories. There's one of my the teachers that I used to work with in the newcomer program. I love her. She's awesome, but she could not do a foldable to save her life. She just could. I hate these things, and then she would just do the paper. So she got really super smart with that. She just gives the book to the kids, like the Dinozyke's books. She says, okay, find one you like and do. And then the kids, they became experts on how to do them, and she didn't have to worry about trying to come up with her own examples because she just couldn't like wrap her brain around it. I don't know what it was. So again, some things just come a little easier to others. So find the person. If you can't do it, there's someone on your campus who can. Okay, and take advantage of those people. Take advantage of those people. Ask them if you could go observe their classroom. People are willing to help. You just need to ask them. Okay, so we're a little early with our break, but I'm going to give you your break now so I could set up. Okay, 1, 2, 3, break. 15 minutes. Thank you.